Versa best company.
Versa Business System.
It's a better
Versa Business System.
Versa Business System.
Welcome to the Versa Business Tips Podcast. I'm your host, founder and CEO of Versa Business Systems, Shaheen Mazloom. We're here with Bennett Maxwell. Been a guest before. Always a great conversation. Thanks for joining us again, brother.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So tell me what you got going on new, man. Obviously a lot, but I see you're constantly posting about all the AI stuff you're doing. Like, tell us about that.
So it's June right now. In February, I heard of OpenClaw, and I was like, "What the heck?" I started seeing it on my social media, and you like one page, and then all of a sudden the world is OpenClaw.
Yeah.
Like, what is OpenClaw? I didn't even know what Cloud Code was. And for listeners who don't know, it's like ChatGPT, but a lot more focused on coding. And then OpenClaw came out, and they said, we will take an LLM and we will put it in an agent harness. So instead of just asking it one thing and then every time, it forgets and you have to start all over, you'll ask it something and then it will go retrieve your information, retrieve your tools, retrieve your SOPs, and then actually perform work, check itself, and then give it, deliver it to you. And the claim was it could do anything a human can do. And I'm like,
Really?
Nah, but I'm like, I'm gonna try this out. And it said, you could get it set up in 30 minutes to 2 hours.
Right.
30 hours in, I'm like, I'm starting over.
Right.
I deleted everything, started over. But it was quite a bit. And anyways, but it's been exciting because it is true. Like AI, anything that you can do on a computer, any workflow end to end, you can train an AI how to do it.
Yeah. 1,000
times, 1,000,000 times, one time, kind of whatever, as long as you're just giving it the right tool. So I've been diving into that for the last 4 or 5 months, trying to take my
it's only been about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, literally, February I've probably spent a few hundred hours.
Right.
So I've been doing franchise development for I started my franchise development company after I sold Dirty Dope almost 2 years ago. And last year started selling some franchises for a business called Glow Tanning. Went really well. Did over 100 franchises, doubled their business. Brought on a few other companies at the beginning of this year, and then that's when I got, I'm not going to say distracted, but I got
hooked. I went down that rabbit hole.
Because the thought process is this: like, okay, if I'm already doing marketing for these guys, franchise sales, like, what am I doing? Okay, well, I'm going to automate that, right? So I'm going to automate the ad portion, like creating the ads every morning. AI could create 10 ads every morning, test them all, and just keep the top one. And it could do so by first analyzing the competitors' ads. And then, so it's like, once I have that, it's called a skill in AI agentic, language. It's like, that's a skill. It's just a workflow that an AI can follow. Once I have that skill, I can give you that skill and it will do the same thing for you. Right. And my cost to do that is almost nothing. It's a file in my computer.
Right.
So it's like, I could produce personalized podcasts for all of your guests and XYZ, but it's personalized. But again, you're only doing it one time, and then it will pull the information, see where the people live, see what their wants and their likes are, and LinkedIn, job history, whatever, and then it'll produce that podcast. But you're just doing it once, and then you could replicate whatever process I'm doing for my business into others. So I just actually launched it this week. That I sold my first AI agent. Actually, the money hit this morning, baby.
Very cool. Congrats, bro.
Yeah, just figuring out, can I automate my business? And if so, how do I take that same thing and just say, hey, it works for me.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah, dude, that's literally how Versa grew. Is we started using different things within our business, and we're like, our clients could use these same tools. and that's how we ended up getting an AI. But like when we first launched and started offering AI systems to businesses, it was about a year ago, and we were working with one company, and we've just realized since then there's so many amazing things out there. Like, you don't need to go and pay these companies 10 grand to, get access to all their stuff and their SOPs, and like you can create all that stuff yourself, and
Mhm.
it's a lot easier than you would think. It's just finding out where to go or who to work with, right? Like, once you figure that out, you're good.
There's so much online because it, like, just like I explained, like the secret to managing AI is a folder,
Right.
which is free. So then you have people like the OpenAI co-founder, Carpathy, that he's like, here's how you do it. Here's how you make sure that you're managing, agents in the correct way, and that they don't begin work until first you give them a specification so it's measurable, and they don't perform the work and check themselves. You have to do a sub agent, and it's like, cool, that was for free. You could go to GitHub and just download that and then tweak it to whatever you want. I
Right.
also follow the Boris, the Cloud Code guy,
Yeah.
that made Cloud Code, talking about it's like handful of months ago, the skill to have was, how do you prompt AI?
Right.
That's a really good skill. And he goes, now it's not. It's, how do I prompt looping agents? Like, how do I prompt agents that then prompt other agents to run, like, literally he'll run 1,000 sub agents overnight. And you're
Right.
just like, what the freak are you doing? So
That's
it's
wild,
crazy.
dude. So how extensive have you gone within your own business? Like, how many AI agents, and like what all do you have them doing right now?
Yeah, so kind of everything. Like, I've been recording myself for a year now.
Yeah.
So anything that I need, I could just be like, hey, grab this. So on my way here, when I was driving, I'm onboarding a client that we just sold that, AI agent for. And as I'm texting my agent, I'm like, hey, we're onboarding Anthony. Go create his email. So
Right.
it goes and creates a bot, checks everything for it, like, to make sure it's, the name's right, and then we'll create an email that he could email directly to communicate with my system. But like, that's like one prompt.
Right.
Yesterday, same thing. I onboarded him, and he's like, yeah, I don't really like my website. And I go, give me a second. And literally I told, because I've already built this, again, it's a
Right.
skill template. Go build Anthony's website. And like, night and day difference, done in a few minutes. This morning on the call, he goes, you could have charged me anything you wanted.
Right.
But it's like, no, it's just once you've done it once. So like,
Yeah.
websites, AI videos, completely indistinguishable from humans. So like, I represent a clothing brand.
Wow.
So I have an AI person grabbing their clothes and saying, check out the new XYZ, whatever, put it on.
Right.
I've created videos that I have out, same thing with that same clothing brand.
Yeah.
I could go to somebody's Google page, look at their interior pictures, and then make videos with AI people inside of a salad concept.
Very cool. So
And
like, that's one thing I haven't been able to figure out yet, is how to make a good clone of myself, right? So like, you see, I do a lot
yeah,
of content and a lot of videos, and it's all me, and it takes, I'd say, probably a couple of hours out of my day just creating content and getting it out there. And so like, even if I could just do half of my content generated by just, a
yeah.
video AI solution, like that would be incredible.
Look,
An extra
look at
5-6 hours a week.
look
Like,
at Hey Gen,
that's
HEYGEN.
what, yeah, that's what
They
I'm
just
I'm
came out
being
with
told. Yeah.
Avatar 5. So Avatar 3, 6 months ago, I was using that, and you could
Yeah.
tell it's
I
AI,
tried them like
and
a
that's
year and a
fine.
half ago, and
Yeah,
I was just like, ugh.
it just in the last month and a half,
Wow.
it's this, maybe not even that, 2 weeks. This
Right.
Avatar 5 came out, and just like, holy crap, it's
Okay.
really
Yeah,
good.
I'll
And
definitely
then
have
the
to
other thing
check
that you're
that.
doing, it's still not going to come out perfect right from the get-go. But
Right.
then you go to GitHub, or you have your bot go search, like, what are the 100 skills that are online to take an AI clone and make it hyper realistic and match the tonality, and then it'll go find those, and then it'll go study those, and then it'll go put together
Right.
your rubric. And it's like, here's the 100 do's and here's the 100 don'ts, and then it'll make an audit out of it, and then you just run it through that audit. But you're
Wow.
just 3 more prompts into it. It's
Yeah.
just, if you try to do it a month ago, it was frustrating. If you try it this month, it works now.
It's crazy how
next month,
stuff
easier.
how it's growing. Like we have a new voice AI that's doing lead generation to big companies. Like I'm talking the smallest company we have in our data file that it's hitting right now is a $300 million a year business.
Yeah.
And it's all to C-level executives, so CEO, CFO, and like director of imports for tariff refunds. And we have yet, it's made 8,000 calls. We have yet to have one person say, is this an AI? Not
No
one person,
way.
correct. Not one person. And I think it was after the second, like, because you run it and then you tweak some things and you make it right. I think after the third time of like tweaking some things, it closed a deal. Okay. So like we didn't even set it up to close deals. Okay. We set it up to schedule appointments for us to then close the deal. And it just went through the whole thing and did it all for us. It filled out the form. It scheduled the meeting with the attorney, and that's the last thing we have to do. Then we're done. So it literally handled the deal start to finish. It had one conversation and they wanted a call back in an hour. It called them back in an hour and closed. And
I think that's the next step. When you're like, what in my business doesn't have AIs and skills and workflows already attached? It's like me being on a podcast is kind of it, the live stuff, because everything else you could have, like an AI agent. Like
you're basically at that point, you're basically just managing your AI agents.
Yeah. And the difference between that, maybe that's a little bit more work and massaging, like this is how I want you to work. But the cool thing is, like, if you do
in the
it
beginning,
right,
but you do that with humans anyway.
Yeah, you have to do it with humans anyway. It's just the advantage with a human is like they come with preconceived knowledge, and you're like,
but also preconceived issues.
Yes, right. They come with that. So I am 100% on like the management of employees or of humans is a very valuable skill.
Yes.
Management of AIs is infinitely more valuable, because once I've trained my AI on how I do a sales call, again, I can now sell that to everybody else. Like I was looking at Gong, the sales call service. It was like 10 grand, but I was like, that's worth it, because we're selling franchises. That's
right.
It's like it's gonna be worth it. Instead, it's like, okay, well, what are the 1,000 things that they're looking at? Right. Why can't I just build that? And then so I did. And then all of the calls get recorded. Every hour they get something pings my company, and it's like, here's all the Slack messages, here's everybody's emails, here's everybody's meetings that were transcribed. And then it starts triggering workflows from there. So it's like, if it was a sales call, it's going to trigger a demographic report to be sent out and to be made, sent out to the customer. And then we're going to send them out the franchise disclosure document. Then we're going to look at the sales call and grade the sales rep and send them out a 4-minute little video on, hey, Keith, you did great on this part.
The AI sales rep.
No, the human sales rep.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's the human part. We just started with AI outbound calling, which is good.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited about. Like the inbound, when a lead comes in.
The system that this guy has built us is incredible. Did you ever hear of, was it Air AI? Was like the first big one that everybody was talking about. I think it was called Air, but they ended up getting like, I think they're going to go to jail. They were charging ridiculous. Like they were charging $50,000 to $100,000 to be able to use the system, but you also had to be a partner. So that's why they were charging so much. So like you have to be a partner with us to sell this just to be able to use it. And it was like 50 to 100 grand. But what they were saying is like, you can make 1 million calls a day. It costs you, hardly anything. This is your only call. It was all, BS, because you got to pay Twilio. You got to pay for the minutes, the usage, the numbers, all that stuff, right? And so that was, I think that's they're going to go to prison over that, because obviously people were spending 50 or 100,000, because I'm going to make millions if it can make 100,000 calls in a day, and all it's going to cost me is this 50 grand or 100 grand.
Yeah, because you look at that software, the same amount of training, if that company is doing 100 grand or 100 million,
Yeah.
the same, that bot needs the same amount of trading,
Yeah.
pretty much, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe you're training them on a larger knowledge base,
Right.
but that's kind of it, you know. And it's
Yeah.
just thinking of like where are the advantages? Like, well, AI can't do marketing because marketing is creativity, but it's like, well, no, creativity is just pattern recognition. Like
Right.
you just like somebody else's pattern recognition.
Yep. Exactly.
Guess who's really good at pattern recognition? AI. Like if you
Right.
could teach
I mean, if you think
AI
about it,
pattern
every
recognition,
marketer,
boom.
what do they tell people to do with marketing? Look at your biggest competitor and copy what they're doing. So, can an AI do that?
Yeah.
Yes. Can they do it way faster than you, way better than you? Yes. You know what I mean? So it's like when you really think about all these things that we do, and AI can do it. You just got to be able to build the bot, or know somebody who can build the bot to be able to run with this stuff. But
or watch watch YouTube videos. I mean, I honestly think it's the most important skill for wealth building that's existed in humanity.
Yeah,
like, learning how to do AI agents, for
100%.
sure, it gives you the biggest opportunity that's ever existed.
100%. The
you're
fact
managing an
is,
army for free.
yeah. I mean, dude, like all these AI guys for years have been saying, if you don't implement AI into your business, you will not be in business in a few years. And it's the God's honest truth, because the ones that are using AI, they're going to grab the attention of your customer before they even know who you are.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I mean? So there's just there's no chance in hell that a company that's not operating on AI in the next few years is still going to be around.
And then there's this compounding exponential effect as you transform your business into AI. So when you take a human SOP and you turn it into an AI skill, two things are going on that's going to constantly improve that. One, if you're setting up like I've learned to set up, you're doing self-correcting loops. So the AI, before it does work, it's going to say, what's the human actually asking? What's the skills that I need? What's the tools that I need? How am I going to measure if this is a success or not? Then it spins up a sub agent to do the actual work, so it's not grading itself. And at the very end, it'll do a self audit. Okay, what went well? What didn't go well? If it scores less than a 95%, it has to make a permanent change to the AI fleet memory. So it's like, is it the Notion project workflow that needs to change? Is it a skill that needs to change, or is it a rule that needs to change? But all of that is in the Google Drive or Notion. So every time, if I have 100 conversations with Claude and Codex, and my employees each have 50, and I have 8 employees, that's 400 self-improving loops that happen every day. So the skills are slowly but surely getting better every day. And then you have a month and a half ago, Opus, Claude's best model, came out. Instead of Opus 4.6, 4.7, 10% bump. So now you just hired a new employee to read your same SOP. But if your employee's 10% smarter reading the same workflow, what happens? You get a better result. You don't even have to change your SOP. Then literally 3 weeks later, Opus 4.8 came out, another 10% better. And then Fable 5 came out last week for 2 days before the government shut it down. And that was 16% better, 16% better.
Wow.
So like,
why did the government shut it down?
Security issues. This was a model that was leaked like 3 months ago to be better than everybody else, to far outpace everybody's cybersecurity attacks.
Wow.
Government kind of freaked out. They slowly released it to Facebook, Amazon, Google over the last few months. And then they released it to the public last week. And within 2 days, they shut it down because the government asked them to. So hopefully it should come back on, but it's people trying to jailbreak it. And it's like, if it's more powerful than your cybersecurity doing your bank account, then
that's wild, man.
But it's also that same thing is now my new employee. Like it uses way more tokens. It used it burnt out all my usage in 2 seconds, whatever. But who cares, right? I could just buy another account. But you're just compounding, and I'm like, I don't know where the business is going to be next month. But I know if I just sleep and don't do anything, between AI's self-improving loops and between the $1 trillion companies pushing out new updates daily and then large updates every few weeks, that all runs my company. And it's just like, that's so cool. Time's on my side, always on my side.
100%, man. Yeah. The only thing that's made me kind of I don't know, but I would say the word is nervous, but like I never know how much is going to get used that day, right? Like it's all of a sudden like one day you get it's like used, 10,000 tokens, and then another day it's, it's just that's the only thing that, and I'm sure there's probably a way to be able to control it more and figure all that stuff out, but it's like, I never know where we're going to be at as far as like our usage.
Yeah, I have 2 Codex Pro Max accounts and I have 2 Claude Code Pro Max accounts, and then 1 Pro account. So I alternate between 5 different accounts because if I have to do work for 10 minutes without an AI, it's just not worth it, because a Pro Max account is the highest account that any of them charge. It gives you a lot of usage. That's $200 a month. So even if it's like, that's $50 a week. It's almost nothing, or I'm like, I'm never going to work. Again, if I just have to buy a $200 a month plan to get me through an hour or 2 of work, for sure I have the ROI.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like the only thing that you don't have automated using AI is, live stuff like podcasts or going live on social media. And then what part of the sales process is ran by a human? Is it just the close?
Yeah, I mean, the full, we have like 5 calls. So the entire sales process is still human, with the exception of we have a ton of video recordings. And this isn't because AI, this is just because how I like to do it.
Right.
I would like to consume information from videos and then talk to a salesperson when I'm ready to ask questions and buy. So it's like there's lots of hours and there's an education process. So our total like human to human contact compared to other franchise sales is probably 50%, not so much on the AI. Now between everything, sending out everything, confirming that it's signed and all of that, the sales training, all of the ads, like every day new ads are going out. Only the top ones get picked, 20% of the budget. I think right now it's like you got $50 a day per brand minimum. Make that work. And then you have an extra $200 that you could kind of decipher based on performance, but it's looking at it every single day. Like this podcast, I didn't email you. Penny emailed you.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was,
even when we had to reschedule, that was all done with the AI.
Yeah, so I have a Penny is my PR person now. Yeah. Every 4 hours it pings. So I had spun her up last Thursday. Yeah. Within 30 minutes. So I was 2 prompts in, but 2 prompts into a system that I've spent hundreds of hours that it knows how I think, right? But 2 prompts in, and 30 minutes later, first podcast person responded and confirmed. It booked me 7 podcasts within a week. And then, and that was outreach. And then I thought, wait, why don't I go back to the podcast I was already on? That's cooler, And then I had it start doing that. I also thought like, okay, who's buying AI agents? If I'm ready to sell them this week, well, what is an AI agent? What am I claiming it is? I'm claiming it replaces an employee, but I don't want to tell you hire an agent and fire an employee. So how about I just find people who are hiring employees? Right. Oh, wait, that's easy. I've never even made a resume, but I have one now. My Claude just made a resume, and then it made my bio. Then it looked at all of the jobs that that my AI could fulfill, like 95, 99% of them, like appointment setter or franchise development. Who else has sold
so smart,
600 franchises, right? Not really anybody. So it tailored my resume and it said, hey, this is Bennett's bot, blah, blah, blah. I just read your resume, or I just read your job application, and I can do it for you under Bennett's direction. Bennett sold 500 plus franchises and he will build out the system for you. And then it starts quoting what the job application says. In quotations, blah, blah, I will do that by doing X, Y, Z. 500 of those, and it's sending 50 out a day. I'm like, yeah, I'll apply for 50 jobs a day, because why not? Why not? And then it's like, oh, well, instantly still has to warm up the email campaign because you can't send 50. And I was like, just create another email. Go to Agent Mail, create a free email, and do 10 from that account, 10 from that account, 10 from that account. And it's like, okay, cool. So that's like once it starts rolling, it's really everything. You get an idea and you're like, cool, I'm going to run this through the AI and then have it self-check, self-improve, and run with it. And then when you have ADHD, you have like a million projects at a time. Right. And it's hard to keep track of them. But it's fun getting started.
That's awesome, man. So It sounds like the most recent thing you added was the voice AI, correct?
Yeah.
And so what are you working on now as far as what your next rollout's going to be?
Yeah. Looking for, I think what provides the most value to a business that every business has is obviously marketing,
Yeah.
right? So like, I'm really trying to nail down that. Like my lead magnet is, hey, if you want to know what AI does for you, you can fill out 12 questions. Tell me what industry you're in and what tools you're using. And then it'll tell
Yeah.
you what other people in your industry are using AI for, AI agents for.
But
It'll explain it to you. It'll say, hey, Bennett, looks like you're XYZ. We're going to break down how you should be using agents in your business. And it just talks to them, right? You get
but
a personalized podcast, and then it builds the first 3 agent prompts for them. Then
nice.
if they want to like go to the next step, they're filling out like a slider. How many leads do you get a month? What's your average contract value? If I can't get them a 10x return, it doesn't let them book a call, because it's like, I'm just focusing on that marketing piece, because I know if that's the easy thing to sell and that's the easy thing to pitch, because if you
Yeah.
can get them one sell, it pays
Yeah.
for itself. And you're
Yeah,
like, you're buying one
exactly.
agent for half the cost of one appointment setter,
Yeah.
and it could do the appointment setting. So
Yeah.
ads, I think, is the big one. If you look at user generated content, like I was explaining before,
Yeah.
who's your target avatar? So creating a skill that says, I give you the industry, I give you the website, you go find their target demographic. What skin tone are they? What accent do they have? What tonality do they have? How tall or short they are? And what's their background? And what are the top 5 avatars? Go build all of them. Then go build 25 different scripts and test 5 scripts per avatar, and do that every single day on top of
Right.
4 different still images.
That's
And doing
wild.
that. And then once the lead comes in, you have speed to lead, obviously responding, calling them instantly
Right.
with the bot, texting them, and just taking them through that, I guess, that process. Yeah, really just focusing on the marketing side. Now, everything else, when I say like everything can be automated, every little part of your business that you
Yeah.
touch a mouse for, but where do you see the quickest money back?
Right.
And it's like, let us just reactivate your old leads, start
Yeah.
calling and texting them. And, if you're selling a good product like a franchise, you're like, oh, cool, we just got a $30,000 franchise fee from old leads.
Right. Yeah, 100%. So we talked about kind of, your journey in AI within your business. So tell me about the company, right? So you have an AI company and you're providing, is it the AI bots to businesses? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's basically what I explained. Optimizing a website, making it mobile friendly, really having the best website out there to track traffic,
Right.
having a bot write SEO and blog articles correctly
Okay.
with the correct search words,
Yeah.
optimizing for AI searchability as well.
Right. So
Writing
people
a
are
blog.
finding you when they're searching on Gemini or ChatGPT,
Yes.
or because that's the thing. People aren't looking on Google, and if they are, they're reading the Gemini response versus the Google,
Yeah, you have
sponsored
to
stuff.
optimize for AI
Yeah,
now.
have
But
to.
there's a way to do that, and AI can do it for
Yeah.
you. And then again, it's like, well, what if they change the way that they search? Well, you're putting in audits, and it's like, okay, how did we do this week? And then check, did ChatGTP come out with different services or forums or Reddit posts that talk about how to better optimize? And then so you can audit. So get high on search results, get a really good website, get it mobile friendly. And then as soon as you click on that, I instantly get a text. And then within a minute, I'm getting a call if I don't respond to the text. Hey, thanks for applying. You're going to get a call just to confirm a few information or a few details. Let me know if that doesn't work. If they don't respond, boom, you're calling them. And then also driving traffic through what I just described.
Yeah.
With user generated content. What I'm doing right now is 10 per month and then 90 still ads. So 100 pieces of ad content, and then full Facebook management.
Wow.
Kind of end-to-end. So everything, yeah, to get a lead, to capture them and get them to the appointment. And then from there, a lot of other things can be done, but I think that's kind of the core. Let's get money in the door this week. So like I got the guy signed last night, paid this morning. His website's already live We'll
Yeah.
have his integrations done today because AI is doing it all. So it's not like hey, we're going to start contacting your leads next week. It's like,
Right.
we will have a 10 email campaign. We'll have an Anthony intelligence report that knows how you make decisions based on the last 2 years of emails and the last 2 years of sales calls that you had.
So it can scan your whole Gmail and all, and your phone system and all that.
I do, because you're thinking in workflow. So if an AI needs to do a task, what does it need? It needs to know which brain to use.
Right.
So I have a brain builder skill. So there's like a CEO brain or a CMO brain or an AI agent brain or a user generated content expert brain. So it puts on the right brain, then it says, which skills do I need? And those are the skills that you're really focusing on. So every brand has a brand guide skill. So if you need if you're touching branding, grab your skill. It tells you what colors to use, what logo to use, what's the formatting, what not to do. Then, but what about the actual voice? Every brand also has a skill for sales and marketing. What are the top 20 reasons somebody buys this product? What are the top 10 reasons somebody doesn't? How to counteract those? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? And then those are all built ongoing as sales calls come in. That's being updated as we are seeing what's actually converting. And then you also have, so that's a sales and marketing skill, brand skill per brand, and then an intelligence skill per person. Wow. So it's how do I write emails, and how does it differ if it's internal versus external communication, if it's Slack versus email, and it's getting all of those communication patterns. So then it could run communication triage for you. So it's not just like, oh, it sounds human like. I don't want it to sound human like. I want it to sound Bennett like. Right.
I want it to sound like me.
It has infinite data on me. I've recorded myself for a year. Literally.
So tell me about that. So you recorded is it recording you right now?
Yeah, I put it on, and then every 3 hours I try to turn it off and turn it back on, just because as long as the recording's under 3 hours, it recognizes speakers. Okay. So it'll say it has my name, it has your name. So the first 4 months, I would put names, speakers, and I kind of named everybody, and it's memorized anybody that I talk frequently to. And then it just gets uploaded, and anything that I need, it has that. But
that's awesome. If you don't mind me asking, what does something like that cost?
$300 maybe.
Yeah,
and so it's like $100 a year for the subscription.
It uploads to the cloud, and
yes, I have to upload it to my phone once a week. And it takes and then my computer checks. I think it checks every day, just if anything else is uploaded.
Yeah, so you have to put it on your phone. That's got to take up a lot.
Oh,
okay, on an app. No, okay, got it. So it's not taking up storage on your phone. Got it.
No. And this one was the best one a year ago. I bet you an Apple Watch. Right. It's because an Apple Watch wouldn't do voices and detection.
Right. But and what is that called? Just a automatic
PLAUD.ai. I really liked it, but I think more valuable than Plod has been having all my meetings recorded for the past years.
Yeah.
But Plod is helpful, especially for personal things as well. Like we had an idea. My wife was creating a chore chart for my kids. Right. So I asked Claude, hey, go check Plod and build it, after we described the idea. So it knew that we go to the Murdoch Trail on bike rides. It knows that we go park hopping and we go to 6 parks in a day. It knows what chores that they do because it just has the information.
Yeah.
So I built intelligence.
That's incredible,
skills
dude.
for my
I gotta
family
get
members.
that. Yeah,
I'm such a weirdo,
dude. I love that, man. I love that. I would have never even thought of that. That's incredible. So
and then when I started recording this a year ago, it wasn't useful. AI was not able to get a lot of information sporadically, organize it, and actually do data. Last night, I looked at the last 4,200 something conversations I had because I'm trying to say, how do I really replicate my brain? So I asked Claude, go look at all of our conversations across all of the different bots, put together. I need a better job at putting together the Bennett brain. Because you know what I do all day. All I do is prompt Claude and Codex all day, and you know what I'm prompting and what I like and what I don't like. Go analyze that and put together a brain. And I started doing that yesterday because I just heard on a YouTube, it's like, you could do that, where I've tried that 2 months ago, and the data was there, but it couldn't read it, right? So right now it's like, even if the AI can't do something, still try it, because if it's a half-ass skill that doesn't work, but it's still a skill with
Right.
some sort of direction, when the model gets 10% smarter, 10%
Yeah,
smarter, 10%
exactly.
smarter,
It'll eventually be great.
but
Yeah.
eventually is like a month, 3
Right.
months. Like it's
Yeah.
not,
It's growing
it's not
so
like a
fast.
year.
It's unreal, man. It really is.
So
It really is.
here's the exponential. I saw something on that new model that I was telling you got shut down, Fable 5.
Right.
So they say, here's how many lines of code our engineers can code at Anthropic, Claude Code. Once Opus came out, it was like 2.5x. And then
Right.
Opus 4.8 came out and it was like 4x. They've been using this model for the past 2 to 3 months, and it's allowed them to go 8x. 8x average per engineer. So it's 2x better than Opus 4.8 at what they're doing, but
That's
16%
wild.
better at managing longer agentic workflows. But like,
Wow.
what? So it's not 10%, you know, it's like 10% compounding turns into 800% within a year.
Right. That's
So
nuts,
it's
man.
cool.
Yeah.
I would like, there's so much out there to know and to learn, and so many
Right.
people, you need to understand it though. Like you can't,
Yeah.
your AI can outsource all the work, but it can't outsource your understanding. Like
Yeah.
it will never understand for you. And if
Yep.
you don't understand
100%.
how they think and how they work, it's going to be harder. But
For
luckily,
sure.
because
What-
AI gets smarter, you can just use better systems and you don't have to be
Right.
technical.
What are a couple people that you suggest people follow on like YouTube or Instagram to start learning more about AI and how it works? Like who did you learn a lot of this stuff from?
I will. I'm going to tell you because I'm sure it's just going to pop up. Well, the thing that I search for though is AI agents. So
Right.
because again, an agent is an employee
Right.
that doesn't cost money, that costs pennies,
Right.
but that employee isn't worth anything until you teach it what to do. So the skill is, how do I turn an AI into an employee? But rather than think I need to replace an entire employee, you just think, what's the first thing that employee does? Well, they click on here and they book me podcasts. Well, and what are they doing? And how do I implement that? Yeah, I can't, it's not immediately popping up my favorite guy. I know his first name is Greg.
Yeah.
But if you type in AI agents,
Right.
how to do AI agents, that's the thing. Now, a lot of it will be like, hey, this is the business of selling AI agents.
Right.
Getting more into just the technical, I want to understand. I would definitely go for Carpathy. The OpenAI, if you type in OpenAI, Carpathy, and then Boris Claude Code, those guys have all the money in the world. They're going to be trillionaires, and they share all their stuff. They're just nerds, and they share all their stuff for free.
Right.
So it's like, here's how you do it. And Y Combinator, the CEO of Y Combinator, has released a ton of stuff on AI and just on GitHub itself.
Y Combinator?
Y Combinator is like the startup. It's like the biggest VC startup
Wow.
company, I think. But yeah, those are some really good ones. But yeah, at the end of the day, just try it. Just get on there. Automate your first thing, and if you don't know how to do it, you're just getting into Claude Code or Codex, and you're like, okay, attach it to your email.
Right.
You know, that's easy. That's super easy. Attach it to your email and then say, read the last year's worth of my emails. Tell me what I spend my time on, what you can help me with, and what's the top 10 things you can automate for me.
Right.
Let's start with the number one,
Yeah. And what do you suggest they connect to their email? Claude?
For sure. Claude or Codex.
Yeah.
You could do it with Grok. You could do it with Gemini. Right. Start with this. Yeah, I would start with an intelligence report. So the prompt that I would do if I was starting from scratch would be, I'm like, dang it, I don't have any of my skills.
Yeah, it's all good. So one question I do have though, so like most of my stuff, like the first couple years was all through ChatGPT. So like ChatGPT knows me probably more than any other AI. Is there ways to basically transfer that data to like Claude and to Gemini? Like,
Yeah, it's and every day gets easier, but all you're
Awesome.
asking, hey, ChatGPT, I need to transfer over to a new AI. I
Right.
need all of the information that you know about me, and then before you send it to me, you have to double it, and then before you send it to me, you have to double it. And tokens are free, basically. More information, better. And then it'll give it to you, and you say that's not nearly enough. You know way more about me. You know
Right.
how I make decisions, and then it'll do it again, and then say, no, I
Wow.
need 3x this.
Right.
And then it'll be a lot of nonsense, but who cares, right? It's going to be 3 gigabytes instead of 1.
Right.
And it's like
Right.
you file it over once.
Yeah.
But that's what I would do. It's very easy to transfer over, and ChatGPT will
Awesome.
will do it for you.
And
But
they
with
basically will give you
ChatGPT,
a file that you can upload to the other AIs. Yep.
Yep. And you just say, save this as your memory, and then you instantly get it. Because I am alternating between Claude and Codex,
Right.
and Gemini and Grok, and they all have a very small
I use
brain,
everything like one
and then
thing
it all
for
points
this.
to. I do a very small, like 10 rules. You have 10 rules, but those rules are all of your skills are located in the Google Drive. All of your projects are located inside of Notion. All of your rules are skills are inside of Google Drive, right? So it's all based on fleet memory. So I could rotate between different AIs because they perform differently. And Codex, so Codex is ChatGPT's version of Claude Code. Codex 5.5 is amazing. And if you want it to go click on your computer and you're like, okay, I want to comment on 100 people's Facebook pages today, Claude's like, I can't do it through the MCP, through the API, won't let me. Codex is like, I just tell Codex, use browser control. It takes my mouse, and I could still be working on one screen. It's taking my mouse and scrolling through my Facebook, clicking, reading the comment, and then looking at my Blueprint AI commenter skill that teaches it how to add value but also drop my link, but always try to add value first in my voice. And it'll do that. And it's just clicking, I also have it doing scraping, social media scraping. Like, how many people today are going to comment somewhere on social media? Who do you use for credit card processing? Today, how many people are going to comment on that?
Oh, dude, a lot.
And how many people are going to say, oh, I got somebody for you? Right? Like, how do we go find those people?
Wow.
Well,
and Codex, you can do that?
Yeah, I built, and we could connect after this. I can give you that skill. I have a social media scraping skill, but same thing. You just give it your business, and then it'll say, hey, who's the avatar? Who's buying this? What are the top 10
I've been looking to do
pages?
Something like that forever, bro.
And then it'll monitor those top 10, 20, 30 pages every day, top 20 hashtags every day. Look at who's commenting, click on their profile, build a buyer profile and a readiness score for them, add them to your Go High Level or whatever, and then start marketing it to them.
Wow. Dude, I got to say, man, this has probably been the most valuable 40 minutes of probably my life, bro. Like you're really like, dude, I started diving into AI in 2019, and we've used a lot of AI, but man, I've learned a shit ton just in the last 40 minutes. And it sounds like a lot of this stuff is very recently been able to be done. It's crazy. Like if it couldn't be
four months ago, I've never logged into Claude Code. This isn't because I'm a tech. I've never written a line of code, but I built the whole system because it's just learning how. It's how do I solve problems?
Right.
I'm solving problems by asking AI. So how do I just teach the AI to ask the same questions in the same order and the same checks and balances that I do? Build that to a skill and then move on to the next thought process.
100%. So if somebody wants to work with you and start, working with one of your bots and go from there, like how does that work?
Yeah, I'll give you guys a link. So I think the first thing, again, it's try it yourself. I'd love to help you out, but also I like
you
to help
gotta
people
understand.
out
that you have to understand it because
you.
AI, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, AI is only as good as the person implementing it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely limited at that. What I was more getting at, though, is I want to make sure that I get a good return for you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like, just wait another month, or it's just easier for everybody if it makes sense. So if you go through this process, it takes a minute, and it will build out what I explained earlier. It'll say, hey, here's your podcast so you can listen to it on your way to work, and it'll tell you this is why speed to lead is important in your industry based on, and it'll actually give you stats. It's not bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
It'll build you actual real prompts with their identity, with examples of what to do, what to contact, all of that.
Yeah.
So I would just start with that. Look, see if you like it. See if you like the plan. See if you, because again, that was produced by AI. I think it's the coolest thing you can get for free in regards to AI, and it's as specific as you can. Then after that, you could do the click to apply, and then it has you do a few more toggles, and it'll evaluate the ROI.
That's awesome, dude.
But yeah, it's not that cool. It's like, because you're looking like at a new business, and it's like, okay, well, I don't have $5,000, but you look at like an old business, like, wait, I would have paid $50,000 for that because that's going to replace 4 appointment setters, and I would have paid way more for that. So that's why, you know, it's depending on what level you're at in your business, it might be better to start yourself, or it might be better to apply. But either way, if you're starting for yourself, like, I will build those first 3 agents for you. Just fill out those 12 questions.
Wow. Very cool, man. Very cool. So yeah, give me that link. I'll make sure it's in the description. Dude, I can't wait to, when did we talk last? Maybe 7 months ago. Probably, and it's, dude, I can't, we're going to have to do this every 6 months to see where we're at.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, man. It was
absolutely,
good being
brother.
back on.
Yeah, man. I'm glad your AI got a hold of me.